Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Guns N' Roses Central. And before we get started with today's news, I want to let you guys know I want to do a new series on my channel called Coffee Chat with Sid. And I want you guys to put topics down below in the comment section about topics you guys want me to chat about. So leave them down below and I'll use your guys' comments as inspiration for upcoming videos on my channel. So without further ado, let's get started with today's Guns N' Roses news. So Guns N' Roses released a new trailer basically promoting their upcoming shows in Europe, the UK, Israel, and North America. So I've linked to it down below if you guys want to go check it out. It's a pretty short trailer and they kind of splice in video footage from the Troubadour as well as some from some of the reunion shows too. So go check it out, guys, and let me know your thoughts. Let's go on to our next piece of Guns N' Roses news. So the next piece is actually not Guns N' Roses news. I should correct myself. It's actually AC/DC news. So there was a news story out earlier this week that AC/DC with Axl Rose concert leads to fine. So when I first read this title, I was like, oh, they probably showed up late to a gig and they're going to get fined now for it. There was a similar story with Guns N' Roses last summer where I think Guns were playing in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and I think they played a bit past the curfew and the city council was voting on whether to fine them or not, and they basically voted in the end not to fine Guns N' Roses. But this story actually had nothing to do with fines or playing too late. So an AC/DC concert last May in Spain with Axl Rose fronting the band had reportedly resulted in a €15,000 Euro fine for the promoter. Now, it all stems from the fact that the Spanish authorities have fined the AC/DC promoter Live Nation for refusing to issue ticket refunds to fans who didn't want to see Axl Rose fronting the band. And they're also urging those who remain unhappy to take action, saying they have 5 years from the date of the show to reclaim their cash. So as you guys know, Brian Johnson was supposed to be playing their shows with AC/DC, but then he had to bow out and Axl was announced. And from what I understand, a lot of people already bought tickets to the shows because they'd announced their European tour well in advance, but a lot of people were unhappy with it. And basically what happened was after the lineup changed, Live Nation assured fans in Spain that anyone who no longer wanted to attend the previously announced show in Seville on May 10th would be granted a refund, but the company stopped accepting applications 3 days later as a result of high demands, a move that Seville city authorities had branded as a breach of commitment. As a result, Live Nation has been fined $15,000 and narrowly escaped being charged €30,000. Now, if you guys want to read the entire article, I've linked to it down below. And let's now move on back to our Guns N' Roses news featuring Steven Adler. And then we've got an update on Steven Adler. So if you guys watched my channel last week, you would have known that Steven Adler was going to be on Bill Burr's podcast. So now that episode has actually gone up live and you can listen to it. It's about an hour or so in length. It includes Steven Adler, his mother's on there too, as well as his brother. And I was listening to it while I was working, so I may have missed a couple things, but I don't recall them ever bringing up the Guns N' Roses reunion. It was more about Deanna's book and talking about Steven's drug addiction and really talking about how, when he was an addict or when he was addicted, being forced to go to rehab definitely didn't work for him, and it's probably not a good route to go for a lot of addicts. He talked, one interesting topic he talked about, just briefly, was about how a lot of rock stars and actors want to try to preserve their hair so they get some sort of hair treatment, as they get older, and I thought that was interesting. And he talked a lot about the mom's book and what he put his mom through as well. So if you guys want to listen to the actual interview, I've linked to it down below. And Bill's a pretty big Guns N' Roses fan as well. So Bill told a story a couple of years back about how, he enjoys playing drums, and he actually accidentally played drums for both Duff and Slash. So he was playing this charity gig, and he was on Mark Maron's WTF podcast, and he shared the story of how his musical hobby led him to accidentally playing drums with Slash and Duff McKagan during a charity concert organized by Velvet Revolver's rhythm guitarist Dave Kushner. So he said Dave is a great guy. He's got a lot of stuff for charity he does. He knows all of these guys, the Guns N' Roses guys, the Velvet Revolver guys, and STP. So when he puts together a show for charity, it's an all-star band. You feel like you're at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And, Bill talked about going to a couple shows, and at one point, Dave Kushner turned to him and said, hey, man, you want to sit in on one song? You're going to do some stand-up and then maybe sit in. And, he was kind of hesitant at first, but he said, okay, sure, he'll do it. So he said he later got up the guts to accept the gig and joined in on rehearsals for a rendition of AC/DC's song, Highway to Hell. So Bill didn't really want an introduction, so he snuck up on stage. And he ended up getting an introduction anyways and realized that soon afterwards, his introduction was followed by one for Slash and Duff McKagan. He said he had 3 seconds to process this, and then Slash just started playing the opening chords, and Bill was like, oh my God, here we go. and he said he couldn't feel his legs during the actual gig. Somehow I was able to get through it. I screwed up like 3 times, but I came back on time. So I think that's a really cool story, and I wonder if that was just a little prank they played on him on purpose just to see how he'd react. But let's go on to our next piece of news. So I want to thank Snod, or Snod, who is an awesome subscriber, super positive, always leaves great comments, and is nice enough to actually retweet my videos. So he's definitely going to get my subscriber award for sure. So he had sent me this screenshot, I think from Zootopia. And there's actually like a little, play on words with Guns N' Roses. So you can see they have guns and rodents when they're going through the playlist. And they just have a bunch of different play on words with different animals and bands. So I thought that was a cool little shout out to Guns N' Roses in the movie. Let's go into our final news of the day. So we have an article from Rolling Stone. They like to do these flashbacks from time to time, and they did one about Guns N' Roses. So they did a flashback of Guns N' Roses meeting the Terminator. So as you guys know, You Could Be Mine was actually sort of like a theme song for Terminator 2 when it came out. And originally, You Could Be Mine was not even supposed to be in the Terminator. From the stories I've heard, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the one who actually picked out the song. I guess they gave him a bunch of songs to pick out. And Arnold liked You Could Be Mine so much, and he thought it fit with the movie great. And he even invited the members of Guns N' Roses over to his house for dinner to actually secure the actual agreement. And even in an interview that Slash did, he said that Arnold was a great guy. He even gave the entire band like these Terminator 2 leather jackets that were made from like French leather. And Slash actually gave, they had like bullet holes in them too, like from the movie. And Slash said he actually gave it to his bodyguard. So if you guys have ever seen the music video for it, you would have known that Izzy's in the music video, but for some reason, he's not in the last shot of the music video. And I've never really been able to find a reason why he wasn't in the last shot. Maybe he didn't think it was cool, and maybe he just left and didn't want to be on set. But go check out the article down below if you guys want to go read it. That basically does it for today's Guns N' Roses news. Thanks for watching, guys. One thing I'm going to maybe start doing in the future is basically taking polls on what Guns N' Roses true story you'd like me to do next. So you can go to my Facebook page, which I've linked to down below. You can go like it. And just the other day I did a poll basically asking people, okay guys, if Guns N' Roses are not playing The Seeker anymore in their set list, which of the 3 songs would you like to see? And I think it was like Locomotive, Pretty Tied Up, and Breakdown. And we had like 60 or 70 responses to that. So I'm going to do something similar for my next True Story episode. So the only way you can vote is if you go like my Facebook page and if you comment on it. So go check that out, guys. I'll probably post the poll probably on Saturday or even Thursday. And you guys can go tell me which song you want to see me do next. So thanks for watching, guys. Have yourself a good day. Hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all things related to Guns N' Roses. And be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to my social media are down below. And let me know your comments, as always, down below as well. Thanks, guys.